What is this?
It's about Islam.
And what about it?
What about it?
Yeah.
Well, we're Muslims and we're trying to spread some information about Islam.
Okay.
Some actual real information about Islam.
Sure.
Yeah, so, what's your name?
Vladimir.
My name is Nader.
Oh, nice meeting you. Good. So what's the story with Islam? Do you think that a lot of people misunderstand Islam, or in which way?
In the way that the media portrays.
Like specifically?
Radical, violent, a lot of misunderstandings.
Yeah, but look, there are branches of Islam that are violent, isn't it so?
Yeah, for every group of people there are always every group of people. Christians, Jews, Muslims.
It's
atheists,
the difference is, well, the difference is that it's true, but with the Christians it was in the past.
Oh,
Yes,
it's still like that. There's
like
some radical Christians.
crusades and stuff like that. But I can't think of any kind of Christian group that is as radical today in the 21st century
KKK?
as some. Yeah, but what's the number of KKK? I mean, the number is so minuscule.
Exactly. You're right. Exactly. And the number of the Muslims who are radical are minuscule, but the media makes them seem bigger than they are.
Yeah, but here's the problem that I have with Muslim countries. So, and it's not even. Let's forget about extremism.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, let's call it fringe group.
Sure.
But I can think of any Muslim country that espouses democracy, not even close to American democracy. Well, why is that?
Is democracy good?
Is democracy good?
Yeah.
Well, let's call it republic. Democracy, of course, it's a republic is better than democracy. Democracy is better than theocracy.
Why?
So you think theocracy?
No, I'm not saying anything about myself.
Well,
I'm just asking you questions. Right? I just
Well,
want to understand.
how about freedoms? Let's say, how come is that in Muslim countries, Muslims who would convert to Christianity, they're killed, they're murdered. It's illegal to start with. That's what theocracy is about.
So the first thing, let me fix a couple of things. So,
Sure.
Muslim countries are not Islamic countries.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I,
Go ahead, join the conversation.
So Muslim countries are not Islamic countries. There's a difference, right? And a Muslim country is a country with a lot of Muslims, right? But an Islamic country is a country its laws are based on Islam, and there are no Muslim countries that laws are based on Islam. It's their own law, it's their own structure, it's their own system, right? Some people might have elements from it, right? Even America's law system has some elements from Islamic law, but there is no Islamic country at all. Period on the face of the earth.
What is Iran?
Not an Islamic country.
What is it?
A Muslim country. At best.
Okay, and we were talking about what's better, Islamic, let's say Iranian version of theocracy versus democracy, and you said that there's nothing wrong with theocracy.
I never said there's nothing wrong with it. I just asked you a question.
So there is
Why?
something wrong with theocracy.
The way they implemented it, absolutely. What I believe is that if you don't follow the law of Islam perfectly, whatever you have structured will be flawed in some way. Because, and the reason why is this, because if God, who I believe is perfect, has developed a system, no human being can make a system better than God. You understand that?
Well, yeah, then by your version, it means that Islamic countries are
there are
obviously
Islamic countries on the earth right now. There used to be, but not anymore.
So which country used to be Islamic?
At the time of Muhammad, peace be upon him,
Yes.
when he was alive, whatever was there was an Islamic country.
Islamic.
It was Islamic.
Okay, now let's get back to, let's say, Muslim countries.
Sure.
Let's not call them Islamic. Muslim countries obviously
call them Muslim.
are the ones that preach Islam. Obviously, whatever the branch is, it doesn't matter. It's Muhammad. This is God, right? So no matter what, whether Sunni, whether
Muhammad is not God.
what's that?
In Islam, Muhammad is not God.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not splitting hairs. So my point is getting to the countries. I mean, you're freely proponent and promulgating Islam here in a majority Christian country, obviously, which is the United States of America. If I were, as a Christian or a Jew or a Hindu, were in any Muslim country, I mean, literally, maybe with the exception of Turkey, but in most other countries, I'll be executed. I mean, literally executed. Well, that's my question, but it is the case. It is the case.
Islam doesn't say to do that.
I understand. Well, maybe not, but why is it the case in the 21st century?
Oh, you ask them.
You have no explanation.
There are people.
Yeah, but don't you see kind of a trend that when there is a Muslim country?
I mean, how about China?
When there's we'll get to that later. So when it comes to a Muslim country, there is intolerance. When it comes to communist country, it's the same thing. I came from USSR originally, so I know full well when it comes to intolerance.
So I get your point, though. So I understand where you're trying to go.
How can you explain it?
So what you're trying to say is that in democratic countries, it's completely different than all the other countries that are not, because they kill people, right? For basically they're not as free, because if they do something different.
No, they're not free. Not as free. As free is kind of a relative thing. They're not free. Period. Full stop. There are no freedoms.
You're saying that's why democratic countries are better. I'm saying what I'm saying. Right?
And you disagree with that statement?
No, I never said disagree.
Okay.
No, I don't disagree.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that if I look at it wholly, me as a Muslim, I believe that God is perfect and He knows everything.
By definition, okay, yeah.
Right?
Of course.
So, and I also have the backing that whatever book I have, right, is true and has not been changed. Now I could say, oh yeah, the Christians believe God is perfect, so let me follow the law, and the law says this and that, and in the Christian law, if you look at the Bible, there's a lot of weird things, a lot of very things that don't fly nowadays, right? In Islam,
exactly. That's why I bring you to the 21st century.
I get it. But Allah, which means God in Arabic, right? He revealed Islam to be the final religion. Christianity was never intended to be a final religion.
What about Judaism? That's where it all started.
It was never intended to be a final religion. It was only intended for Moses, peace be upon him, and his people at that time.
But Moses is Jewish.
Well, Muslims believe that Moses was Muslim. We believe every.
How can it be?
No. Because
yeah, but let's look.
I can explain it for you.
Please do. Yes.
So a Muslim is someone who submits to God.
Okay.
So every prophet, right? We believe in Adam as a prophet, Abraham as a prophet, Moses, Abraham, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon them all. We believe that they were Muslims because they submitted to God. God showed them whatever side.
Wait, submitted to which God?
To God, the creator of the universe.
Which is not Muslim, which is not Christian, which is not Jewish, it's just God.
It's God.
Okay, fine.
So if you submit to God, God shows you what the truth is. In your heart, you know for a fact what the truth is, that there's nothing worthy of worship but God alone. That means you don't associate partners with God. You don't say this person is God, Jesus is God, there's 2 gods, there's 10 gods, you can't do that. There's only one God who's the creator of the universe, and He's the only one you're allowed to worship.
Well, as far as it's called monotheism. So monotheism was invented by Jews.
No. It was revealed. This is the first prophet.
It was invented by the Jews. So first there was a Jewish Bible, then there was a Christian Bible.
I mean, as far as you know.
And then there's.
What I'm telling you is that every prophet.
Okay, fine. So whatever it is, again, I'm not a religious person per se. So, but let's forget about history. Let's talk about Islam today, because in history, yes, the Christians were bad, and Muslims were bad, and a lot of things happened. So this is 21st century. Okay, there are no crusades anymore. There are no burning at stake anymore. There's no more Inquisition, right? When it comes to Christians, and yet when it comes to the Muslim world, it seems like you guys are stuck at this in the 7th century. I mean, how come is that? I mean, look at your women. Look how they're dressed. Why are you mistreating women?
You're mistreating them?
Well, yeah, because if a woman in any Muslim country decides to walk around, dressed like, in shorts and revealing clothes, I mean, it's just illegal, plain illegal. Oh, come on!
In Egypt?
I was in Egypt, and I was in Morocco. But it's mostly true. The Russian, oh my God, the Russian girls that go to Egypt. Of course they do. They're Natashas.
In Egypt, you're allowed to dress however the hell you want. No one's gonna tell you anything. Saudi Arabia, you're allowed to dress however the hell you want.
Seriously?
Yes.
How come is that when it comes to any other, speaking of Saudi Arabia?
Islam says dress in an improper way. No.
But it is the case. I mean, come on, it's the case. Quran, it's that you do not allow women, Muslim women, to dress however they want.
Okay, so let's talk about that now.
Okay, please do. Explain it.
Okay, so in Islam, Allah prescribes upon women and men actually to cover what's called the awra in Arabic, which is like, and it's different for men and women, right? So there's a section of the body, right? And it's actually a way of conduct as well that you conduct yourself by, that you should be modest. And so for the women, for the majority of people, the only place you could leave uncovered is the face and the hands and the feet.
So in other words, it is a theocracy. It is the system that does not allow women to be free.
So
that's you just confirmed it. That if a woman decides to not to wear it, she'll be punished.
Never said that.
Well, because you said you're required. You just said required. You said it.
So there's different kinds of requirements, right? There's two different kinds of law. There's the law that's a spiritual law, right? Things that if you do or don't do, you'll be sinned for. And then there's a law of the society if there's an Islamic country.
Okay,
right?
yes.
So,
but you said there are no Islamic countries before.
Before there were, but now there are not. There used to be. For example, at the time of Muhammad, peace be upon him, at that time that was an Islamic country. Okay. So it was properly put by Quran and the Sunnah.
Okay.
So, but now there are not, because people blatantly just don't follow. But anyway, if a woman decides not to dress,
she'll get stoned. She'll go to jail. I mean, come on, get real. In all the Muslim countries, that's the case.
Can we make a distinction between Muslim countries and what Islam says?
I don't care. I'm talking about the country. I'll give you a list of the countries.
Okay.
I'll give you a list of.
All I care. Wait, one second. So this is something that's fundamentally not going to work in this conversation. The only thing I care about is what Islam says. I don't care what Muslims do. I care about what Islam says. That's all I care about.
Okay, but
I can't control people, right? All I could do is try to spread the truth.
But how come? Okay, but again, how come is that in all Muslim countries that's the case, and only in Muslim countries that's the case? Islamic, Muslim, whatever you call it, that's the case. When we talk about the women being subjugated to men, when we talk about atrocities, when we talk about gay men being hung off of the cranes in Iran, for example.
So, for example, there is no country right now in the world that's really allowed to do any of that. They should not do that. Islam doesn't say to do that. It's actually against Islam.
But it doesn't matter. Again, we're talking about what are you trying to say? They're perverting Islam then, because they're doing in the name of Islam.
They shouldn't.
But they're doing it.
But I'm saying they should not. From an Islamic point of view, they shouldn't do that. It's wrong. They should not do that. That's because they're not implementing the whole system. They're taking bits and pieces and they're saying, oh, this is Islam. No, Islam is a complete package where if you follow the whole religion, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing in the first place. But they're picking and choosing, Islam, and they go kill whoever they want. That's not Islam. You're actually shredding.
See, that reminds me, coming from, and I'm making a lot of videos when talking to communists, okay? And I come, like I said, from USSR originally. Yeah. And these communists, like there was, demonstration here, a few minutes ago. Yeah. So there was Bapavakian, the revolutionary and stuff like that. And every time they say, when I say that I came from communist country called USSR, they say, oh, it wasn't real communism. So here we go. It's like it wasn't real Muslim country. It's not, they're not espousing Islam the way it's supposed to be. So as the result, because there was not real communism in Russia, USSR, there was not real communism in China, as you brought up, or Indochina, or Eastern Europe, or any other country that claimed to be socialist, it wasn't true socialism. Okay. So do you think it's a convenient excuse when you're saying that, oh, it's not true Muslim country, the atrocities have been happening for centuries, but it's because they're not true Muslim countries. It's the same analogy, no?
So I get what you're saying,
okay.
But the difference is that if you were to actually look in Islam and look at the similarities to what they're doing, what Islam says, there's almost nothing in common except what they pick and choose.
When you look at the book written by, let's say, Lenin, Marx, and so on, I mean, this stupid theory, it's just the theory. When it comes to implementing it in real life, you see 100 million dead.
Of course.
So it's the same thing with Islam these days. And again,
because what I'm telling you is what I'm saying is different, because those countries aren't even trying to implement Islam. I'm not even saying they tried and they failed. They're not even trying. They are doing their own law.
Okay, fine.
Can't call it. No one there genuinely will call it. This is Islam. This is an Islamic law.
Okay, fine. So let's say I'll take it at face value. So, what is your ideal Islamic society, the country that never existed, let me finish. Just like a socialist that never existed, only in theory, in practice 100 million dead. So what would be your ideal Islamic country, like perfect Islamic country? Because you just said that none of these countries of today and ever, except that period when Muhammad was alive, were Islamic. So what's your ideal Islamic country?
So an ideal Islamic country is one that follows the Quran, which is the final revelation from God, and the Sunnah, which is the actions of Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Okay.
If they follow that exactly, or to the best of their ability, that I'll consider.
So in this ideal Islamic country, is there a place for gays, homosexuals?
In what way?
Just what are we doing? A gay is a gay. A man who loves a man for whatever reason.
So a Muslim can be a Muslim, but let's say I was walking it even though I was Muslim. That's somebody. Or you have a Muslim like me who's out here and saying, "Oh, this." No,
but you're gay. This is ideal. Okay, let's imagine that today, right now, we are standing in an ideal Muslim country of your dream. Okay. So is there a place for gay men in this ideal Muslim country?
Okay, but I'm saying, what would they be doing? Would they just be doing whatever?
It doesn't matter. Like in America. Like in America, they're freely, openly gay. They walk along the streets, they're hugging each other, they're holding hands.
I actually don't know.
So you have to answer.
But I can try and give a little bit, but I don't.
It's like a yes or no, I think.
I just don't know. Islamically, I don't know.
Okay. So is there a place? Is there a place? Yes.
Let me try and give a little bit on that. So for example, if somebody's personal life, they're homosexual and they do whatever they do and nobody knows about it, no one cares. It doesn't matter, it's no business.
But we're talking about the law, like in the USSR. I mean, getting back to USSR, homosexuality, and it's not that I'm condone or I'm for homosexuals. If this is the way they are, I mean, whatever. It's like their personal thing,
but
like you said.
The place should be free.
But in USSR, homosexuality was illegal. It was on the books in their code, penal code, punishable by 3 years behind bars. So when you say private life, I mean, I've known there's a very, very famous singer in Russia, in USSR. And, I know that he was gay and, I met him once and he was making advances to me actually, but I just happened to be not that way.
I get it.
So he would never ever be able to say openly that he is gay, that he likes men. So it is illegal. So when you're saying that, you can do whatever you want to do behind closed doors, but the minute the authorities in the ideal Muslim country discover, what are they going to do to this person?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
You don't know.
So let me try to steer it maybe a little bit and then maybe you can understand. So let's say for example, you're not allowed to have premarital intercourse in Islam.
You're not?
No. Oh. So you have to be married in order to have sex. Period.
Great. Okay. How guys do we have fun then?
We get married.
Oh, okay, and then have fun after you get married.
We have as much fun as we can, but the thing that if you look at it genuinely, trying to push away the inner desires that we have away and try to actually look at it from like an actual logical point of view. If you look at the benefit of having sex before marriage, and you look at the benefit of getting married first and having sex, there's a clear difference.
That's besides the point. You know what the most important point is? Freedom. I either have the right and freedom to do whatever I want, or I don't.
Right.
And that's a fundamental. Freedom is scary.
But the thing is, when you start letting, and I'm talking about only I can only say this from the point of view that this is God who knows everything, who knows the human being perfectly, better than even the human being knows himself, saying this, right? Putting these laws on the human being. That when you let the human being do whatever they want, they destroy themselves.
How can you explain, when you say there is only one God, how can you explain kind of major rift between the same Muslims who supposedly believe in the same God, and that's Sunni and Shia? Of course, they go to war with each other. Come on, I mean, look what's going on.
Oh, you're talking about war.
Muslims.
You're not talking about.
No, I'm talking about from the religious point of view. I mean, if you're saying there's only one God, and he preaches the same laws, how come is that Sunni hate Shia and Shia hate the Sunni. They hate each other. But of course,
Islam never tells us to hate anybody.
look, I divide people into two categories: people that I like and people that I don't like. I don't care about religion. I don't care about where it came from. However, when it comes to big groups of people and their leaders, and it's been going on since 7th century,
I get what you're saying, and there's something that fundamentally most people don't. For some reason they don't know, but Shia it's honestly really just a political thing from the start. It's been politics. It has never been a religious issue. It's always been political. If you actually look at history, it's always been political.
Are you Shia or are you Sunni?
I'm a Muslim who follows the Quran and the Sunnah, right?
Okay.
So
where are you from
Sunni,
originally?
I'm from Egypt, but I was born in
Egypt is Sunni.
Sure, there's some Shia there.
What part of Egypt are you from?
Cairo.
Okay, yeah.
I've never been there before.
Really?
I'd like to go.
Well, then I know more about your country than you do, because I've been to Cairo.
No, I'm sure.
I crossed Suez Canal. I traveled across Sinai Peninsula. I was even inside the pyramids.
I'm pretty young. You wouldn't believe how old I am.
20?
24.
24.
I thought you were thinking like 30. Okay, fine.
Well, you have the whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
But here's another kind of thing. You live in America, the freest country on earth, and obviously you're standing over here, trying to. I wouldn't use the word impose Islam, but let's
want to
say
be a source for people to learn. If they want to learn, we're here to learn. You know, so that way they don't get bombarded by the media, right? So that way they can actually talk to a Muslim. You know,
as I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's things that you believe about me that were not true.
It's not about you personally. Like I said, it's nothing personal.
For people, anybody wants to come and talk to me or yell at me or anything. Right?
It's a free country, mind you. You wouldn't be able to do that in USSR. Forget about.
It's free until somebody decides that it's not, and then you get penalized.
Well, free within the legal system. Obviously, if you break the law, you break the law. But the fundamental difference, again, when we talk about the legal system over here versus, again, USSR that it came from, there are a lot of things they were not really on the books. I mean, you read the Constitution. Oh my God, based on the Soviet Constitution, you can travel abroad. You can travel around the country. You have freedom of speech, you have freedom of assembly on paper. So in reality, there was none of it. And I'm sure you're well aware of it, of life in the USSR. So my point is that you are staying over here, and you're being proponent of the system that maybe on its surface says one thing, but in reality, again, I can't see any one free Muslim country as of today. As of yet, the only one.
We're going back on the same thing, but again, that's because they're not even trying to follow us.
They're not trying,
not even trying.
But you just explained to me that the real Islam is not really about freedom at all. There are no freedoms in. And again, it's
not true. So
it is true.
For example, a Christian, you're allowed. For example, let's actually look at it in Islam.
Uh-huh.
Let's say you're Christian.
Yes.
Right? You're allowed to have your own church and go to the church and worship as you wish.
But in a Christian country, see, you can do whatever you're doing right here, trying to sell Islam to others freely. Yeah. I mean, look, there's police around. Nobody's bothering you. If you were trying to do that in Iran, forget about it. Setting up like a tent, a Christian tent.
It's a bad example because there's a lot of garbage and a lot of political trash and stuff like that in the country. So it's loaded. It's like a loaded.
Wait. There's a difference between a personal feeling, personal anti-Semitism, personal whatever the word is.
There's so many issues right now there, so many political clashes.
But that's besides the point. The fact is that you're stating right here, you're selling Islam, to anyone who's willing.
I could do this in America, but I couldn't do this in an Islamic country.
You cannot do that as a proponent of Christianity in an Islamic country.
So check this out.
Hell no.
So check this out. So if I'm in a proper Islamic country, right, and there's somebody who, let's say, wants to start preaching Christianity, right? They shouldn't do that.
They shouldn't do that.
No.
Well, that's exactly my point.
I get it. But the thing is, if you don't like that, you go somewhere else.
So
it's forcing you to be in that country.
If I don't like Muslims, I can tell you get the hell out. I mean, if I were to follow your logic, I mean, seriously.
No. For example, there are laws in America. If you don't want to follow, you'll get penalized.
That's right.
Right. If you don't like it, go somewhere else.
That,
It's the same thing.
well, a law is a law, but again, that's the difference between the laws of a free country like the United States of America and the
Law is
laws.
free, but there are actual issues in the law system in America.
Well, but whatever the issues are, here's a specific example. You're a Muslim, you set up your tent over here, you're trying to convert others, or let's say spread the word, whatever you call it, freely, with the police like being,
I get
right
it.
over here watching you. If the same police were in Iran, for example, or even
You'll get
Egypt,
taken down.
well, you'll be hauled to jail. I mean,
Sure.
chances are you'll be executed. That's how severe the punishment
Sure.
is
But
for.
that's those countries. In America,
But they're
let's say-
Muslim
let's say-
countries,
that
all
has
of them.
nothing to do with me. Right, but I'm saying
Not
in
with
an
you, but I'm
Islamic
talking about. I'm not talking about you again. I'm talking about Muslim countries.
Right, in an Islamic country, that would. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it, but you're not allowed to preach anything other than Islam.
Is
Right?
it-
Openly like that.
Okay, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I mean, do you agree with that?
Do I agree with that? I
Yes.
believe Islam is the truth, so yes.
So you agree that it's
Teaching something that's not true doesn't make sense.
it's not true, but
So if
we're
you're teaching Christianity, it doesn't make sense. Now, if you're learning about Christianity in a school setting, right?
Uh-huh.
Like let's say you're in school in an Islamic country and they're teaching you about Christianity, it's different than if somebody's preaching it, saying whatever they want. Because they can be saying whatever they want.
so you're not
And you
allowed to
you
do
cause
that.
fasad, you cause corruption because you could say things that are not true, confuse people, and then now you're affecting society when you confuse people.
I see. So a Muslim country then is the perfect Muslim country is the one where 100% of people living in it are Muslims.
No, absolutely not.
Well, but then how can you put together people, Christians, Jews, Hindus,
No, you
whatever?
could practice whatever you want. You just don't preach it to other people openly like that. You understand what I'm saying? You could be Christian, you have your church, you could even have your alcohol shops, and you could
Even.
do that. I'm serious, you could
Okay.
even do that because that's a part of their culture, right?
Okay.
And you're not allowed to touch them. You're not allowed to do anything to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally, their life, their blood is protected under the Islamic State. You're not allowed to do anything to them. They're protected by the government as well, under the military.
Well,
right?
but it's
So
not the
they're
case.
actual citizens.
And again, it's a theory.
That's
In
why I'm telling you,
practice,
it's no,
it's
that's not theory. That's actually doable and the case. But those countries don't want to implement it like that for whatever reason that they want, and they have their own.
Well, the reason-
they have their own penalties with Allah, with God.
The
because of
reason is because they're Muslim countries, plain and simple.
that. But that doesn't make sense.
Well, but that's the reality. Like I said before, when it comes to socialist countries, it's the same excuse. It wasn't done right.
No, but we already talked about that, right?
Well,
I told you,
exactly, right.
But those ones aren't even saying they tried to implement communism. Those the Muslim countries don't even try to implement.
They don't try. I see. I got it.
Don't even try.
So what's your ultimate goal? I mean, you're studying
My
here. You
ultimate
set
goal
up.
is to teach people fundamentals about Islam.
Uh-huh.
And it's not to convert people, it's not to do anything, it's just for me to be a part of spreading Islam. That's it. For God to basically, for me to be a tool that God uses to be a part of it. So I could get a part of the cake, right? It's not to make anybody anything. And also, this is also more reward for me than anything else. This is more for me than anybody else. Me trying to do this and trying, But the fundamentals of Islam are that you worship nothing but God alone. Right? You believe in God, you worship nothing but the creator of the universe, and you believe that Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Jesus, peace be upon him, are messengers of God. You believe all the prophets, you believe in them, and you follow what they say. You follow what came to them in Revelation. That's it. Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the closest messenger in time to us, and the revelation was given to him was for all of mankind until the end of time.
So
And it's relevant until now.
So there are a lot of kind of, I don't know, you can call it hearsay or some kind of things, bad things that are told about Muhammad, which is the prophet.
Of course.
I mean, what's with that? How can you rebut or confirm what people say about him?
Well, you have to tell me in particular.
Well, for example, his attitude towards the Jews, that he murdered, lots of Jews. For example, I mean, is it true that he's which makes him anti-Semitic?
Well, that doesn't make any sense because he's Semitic, though.
Okay, so he's Semitic.
Abraham is.
But you just said that
he
it was
follows
Muslim.
Abraham and Moses and all these people
Yeah,
who were
but-
Jews, but why would he be killing Jews? You know what I mean? But anyway, so in particular to that, I think what most people talk about is so there was a contract between a Jewish tribe and the Muslims at the time, and the Jews breached the contract.
How? What did they do?
There's a lot of specifics and context that I don't know exactly because.
But they know.
I can direct you to someone who has more knowledge.
But they know that it happened, and they're sure that it happened.
So, because I, whenever these things come up, I learn. I want to learn. So I go, I look it up, I try to understand the history.
I
to
see.
understand these things, right? people.
So it's a Jewish fault. I got it. Okay.
So, I mean, if you have two countries, they make a contract with each other, and then one breaches the contract, like they do something that's against the contract. What does that mean?
But you know what happened?
No, I'm saying you're asking now for specifics. I'm saying this is all I know about it.
I see.
What I'm telling you now is all I know.
I got
I don't
it.
know about specifics exactly.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what was breached. I don't know exactly what.
But why did Jews? I mean, let's say it happened back then in 622. I mean, that's when Islam was considered the birth of Islam. So
620, sure, yeah, it's like 1400 something.
So why the relationship between the Jews and the Muslims basically never improved? Never. Why do Muslims absolutely do not tolerate Jews?
No, we do.
You do. You do tolerate the Jews. And how do you tolerate them?
Why wouldn't we tolerate them? They're our cousins. Why wouldn't we tolerate them?
Well, all the
nothing
Jews.
against the Jews.
Well, okay, the Jews were kicked out of Iraq. The Jews were kicked out of Syria.
Stuff, I have no idea. When it comes to political stuff, I don't know.
So what you're saying is that the Muslims that really embrace Jews and Judaism, and the Jews are like the Muslims'
you could look
brothers.
at the Islamic countries that have the actual Islamic countries that had Jews there, living there, in there, as citizens of the state.
Well, about in the 20th century, I forgot the exact number, but definitely hundreds of thousands of Jews were basically kicked out of Muslim countries when the State of Israel was created. Their property taken over, stolen essentially, and that's what happened.
Sounds like you're talking about the Muslims in Palestine.
I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
No. I'm not.
I don't know anything really.
No, I'm not talking about that conflict. I'm talking about the Jews that lived in Iran. They're all gone, kicked out. The Jews and they're large communities. In fact, the Jews lived in Iran since the collapse of the Second Temple. I mean, we're talking about 6th century before Christ. So they lived there ever since. They were kicked out. Iraq, the same thing. Syria, Jordan, North Africa. You don't know.
The only thing
I
could say is that Islam does not condone kicking people out of that area. They should be protected.
I say, do you like Jews?
I have no problem. I mean, that's a very general thing. Do I like Christians? I mean, it depends.
Well, let's say it's a religion. Well, but see, the thing is...
the Jews are closest to us in their religion than anybody else.
Yeah, but it doesn't prevent Muslims, unfortunately, murdering the Jews and having this conflict for like centuries. I mean, what kind of customs are that?
I honestly don't think they should be fighting. I don't think anybody should be fighting.
I agree with you.
Honestly, but then again, this is some childish thing that I'm saying. It's like, oh, there should be peace in the world.
That's true.
It's very complicated.
Well, that's so. In other words, you're saying there's no incitement against Jews in Muslim.
Actually, Allah.
Never incitement.
Actually, it's funny because in the Quran, Allah actually specifically talks to the Jews and He tries to talk to them. It's very interesting. He said, "Yeah, Bani Israel." It's like, "Oh, children of Israel." And he's talking to them. He's like, "Why did you do this? Why did you do this? I did this for you. I did this favor upon you. I did this for you." It's almost like he's trying to like convince them to go back to Allah. It's very interesting.
Convince the Jews. Well, I see. You didn't travel much. I mean, I'm much older than you.
I only went to Jordan for a month.
See. So I traveled, and among the places that I visited was Egypt, and I'm sorry, not Egypt, Turkey. Okay. And in Turkey, in Istanbul, they actually have the actual Muhammad's relics. I think the coat that he was wearing. I mean, the whole stuff. No, it's totally amazing. But what really struck me is that there was like a pavilion, and you pass through this pavilion, and they're reading Quranic verses.
Yeah.
And it just happened so at the time that I was passing this pavilion, and they were reading these Quranic verses, and basically they were saying, "Kill the Jews."
Oh yeah, tell me the verses.
Well, I don't remember exactly, but I mean, I have it on my camera. I can, if you give me my card, I can send you this video from.
There's no verse that tells. There's no verse that I read the Quran.
But basically
every
that.
Day,
well, you think so? I shouldn't trust my own ears then.
I mean, were they saying in English or Arabic?
Yeah, of course in English. Yeah.
That's weird.
It was in English.
They're
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, obviously it's for tourists.
That's a
It was Arabic.
tourist.
Well, Turkey wants to make money. Obviously, tourism is a huge source of. So you think it was a mistranslation? You think?
I don't know what verse you could possibly mistranslate this as "kill the Jews" because there's no thing in the Quran that says "kill and Jews."
I see.
Like
Okay.
that, at all.
I hope not.
You can't kill innocent people. You're not Allah. In the Quran, Allah says that if you were to kill an innocent person, it would be as if you killed all of mankind. And if you were to save an innocent, if you save a person, It would be as if you saved all of mankind. This is what Islam teaches.
Why?
Then there are specific verses that talk about the context of war. What do you do when you're in a war situation? When you're literally at war with somebody else. Those verses are different and they're much harsher, right?
Okay.
Verses, and out of context, you're like, oh my God, how can you kill them where you find them? Blah blah. Yeah. In the context of war, you want to kill whoever you find who's the enemy. Obviously.
I see.
Right? Because Islam is a full, complete religion that teaches you everything. What do you do in war? What do you do when you're not in war? What do you do at work? What do you do in the bathroom? What do you do?
So let me ask you this then. I mean, obviously it's 24. Were you born in Egypt or?
Born and raised here.
You're born and raised here.
Yeah.
So why did your parents decide to leave Egypt, a Muslim country, and come to non-Muslim country like the United States? What made them move?
So my dad tells me opportunity.
Opportunity.
Right? Because in Egypt, I graduated college, alhamdulillah, like all praise and thanks for God. I have a job now, right? In Egypt, how much money would I be making if I had a job? How much money do I make now that I have a job?
But isn't there hypocrisy? You want to kind of live in the Muslim country, perfect Muslim country, and
Egypt is not a perfect Muslim
well,
country
but wait. But if it's your country, like America is my country.
America is my country.
So
for all I'm going to tell you.
Well, if you were born, fine. I'm not blaming you.
I'm talking. Like, I'm more
of course.
American than most
No, I know. I agree.
You know
I agree.
what I mean?
But I'm talking about your parents. Your parents came here for the opportunities.
Because they're smart.
They're smart. Okay.
They're smart. No, they're smart. What they made the right choice. Whatever.
Of course, they made the right choice.
Of course,
but then again, it's a kind of contradiction. You want to have.
My dad agrees with a lot of the things that you said. I agree with some of the things that you said. But I understand what you're saying because in the context of the world right now, right, in terms of freedom to do whatever you want, right, I get it. America makes a lot of sense. I get that.
Good.
Right.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Right. But I'm not going to tell you that this is the correct way to run a society. I'm not.
Yeah, but see, if you turn this country around, then it will become like Egypt.
What do you mean?
Well, the Egypt is the way.
Bring it back into a theocracy?
No. It's like your father came here for the opportunity. There's a reason why America is the greatest nation on earth, right?
Yeah, because it has the most power.
No, well, why?
The most money. And
why?
Like
Where did it all come from? Because of oppression?
Because they took over
oppression?
Yes.
Well, I mean, Egypt.
If you actually really want to get into it, and I mean no offense to America like that, but I'm saying if you actually look at it realistically, how many countries like America and the UK, all these world powers, how they become world powers? Because they kill people.
So that's the reason you think that America, honestly, being born over here?
Absolutely.
So your father came to the oppressed country then?
Oppressed country? No, the oppressive country.
Oppressive, right? Yeah. Oppressive country. So it doesn't make sense to come to the worst place out of Egypt. Then what about Egypt, your homeland? I mean, your parents' home country.
Wouldn't you want to be in the place that's powerful? No matter how they got there. Wouldn't you want to be here instead of over there getting shitted on from other people? No, of course.
I mean, after all, Egypt has been in existence. I mean, for crying out loud,
for a long time.
You know, of course, there's nothing to do with that civilization. It changed completely. Yeah. But I mean, it's pretty much the same people. The religion has changed, but people are basically the same. It was a powerful nation. Speaking of oppression, when we talk about the Egyptian kingdom, America is one of the kind of newest countries.
Yeah,
so you're living already.
Right.
You know, and
but I think you would agree. I hope you would. If you actually look at history, you're going to tell me America didn't gain its power out of taking over other countries.
No, you know what? No. You know it's the gift of America. And this is something that unfortunately Islam is lacking. Freedom.
Okay.
Freedom. Absolute freedom.
Right.
Freedom.
Freedom is the reason why this country is going down. And it's people are destroying themselves. People are corrupting themselves and they're corrupting other people as well.
So how is America going down?
Since in a lot of ways. It's not perfect.
Okay, of course it's not perfect. Right? It's not perfect because, well, there were people before us here before protesting. It's not perfect because they're communists among us. It's not perfect because they're religious zealots among us.
No, forget about all that. I'm talking about America itself. Forget about the people in America. I'm talking about America itself.
Foundationally, you mean it's not perfect?
I mean, belief-wise, obviously it's not. But I mean, even if it's fine, I'm talking about you letting people do whatever literally they want.
And that's not good.
They will destroy themselves.
No, they don't. Well, we haven't just.
Absolutely.
Okay, it hasn't happened in 200 years, and yet it happened. Look at Egypt today. Look at the things that are happening. Muslim Brotherhood.
I don't see Egypt as an example.
You don't care about Egypt, but it's your country.
They don't follow the law of Islam.
And that's the reason.
They don't follow the law of Islam. If they followed the law of Islam, they would be much better than everybody else.
And from 622, it never happened. In like 1400
It
years,
happened a
it
little
never.
bit there, and then they lost it very quickly. They lost it very quickly.
But isn't it amazing? It's like for 1400 years, I mean, 14 centuries, you never succeeded. In 14
Success is not from that. This is not success. As Muslims, we don't take that as success. Whether there's an Islamic state or not, that has nothing to do with the success of the Muslims. How many Muslims are there in the world? Almost now 1 in 4 people, 1 in 3 people.
Yeah, 1.7. No, less than that.
You're gonna tell me that constant increase.
It's 1.7, I believe, billion.
More than that, no.
Out of 7.6 billion today or so.
Right, and how many before? More than 1,400 years ago? 0?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. You're gonna tell me that's not success? Utter success.
But how do you measure success? By the number of people that live in the world? No. Chinese are the most populous. Are they successful, like in China, for instance? Today?
You're talking about
there were ups and downs, of course. No, I'm talking about the most populous, most populous actual nation are Chinese, and of course, it's not even a religion.
You have as many babies as you want, but maybe you had success in having as many children. But no, but I'm saying, like, you're going to tell me that success is not whether you have an Islamic country or not. That's up to Allah. Whatever He sees.
To Allah, I see.
Allah doesn't care about these. He doesn't care about numbers. He could make everybody Muslim if He wanted to. That's not the point. Allah made this world to test people. To see, He's testing everybody here. Personally, every person has their own test.
But what if you don't believe in Allah? Well, what are you going to do? I don't believe in Allah.
I know you don't.
So, I mean, am I...
So what's going to happen to every single individual? Allah guarantees, Allah in the Quran guarantees that every single person will know eventually that Islam is the truth inside of themselves, and in the furthest horizons and in themselves, they're going to know Islam is the truth.
I see.
And when that happens, right, and there are obviously some exceptions to that, but when that happens, it's on that individual to submit to be Muslim. Submit to that truth.
So that's the main word, submit.
When you submit to Allah, that's when you obtain real freedom.
Okay, so this is basically when we talk about Islam, you basically have to use just one word, submit. So in one word,
you submit to the truth. You submit to the truth.
Okay, submit.
I don't say submit without learning, without understanding, without believing.
Submit.
When you know it's the truth.
That's the key word, submit.
But that's what Islam means. Islam means submission.
Exactly. Thank you.
I mean, you could say you could take that as a bad point, but this, when you submit to Allah, when you submit to Allah, the creator of the universe, God alone, that's when you're free.
Submit.
That's when you learn you're actually free. You're free from your desires.
Submit.
You're free from other people. You're
I
free
see.
from other laws.
Submit.
That's when you get freedom.
Submit. There you get freedom. All right. Okay, it was nice talking to you.
All right. Take care. You want to take
Inshallah.
God
bless America.
Books and stuff.
Nah, well, yeah, whatever.
No, don't take it if you're not going to read it. But if
Yeah, sure. Well, why not?
That's free information.
Sure, yeah.
We have translations.
Well, somebody paid for it. Nothing's free. Come on.
Well, it's free for you.
For me.
That's all you care about. That's all for you. Do you want a translation of the Quran?
Well, in English, of course. I don't speak Arabic.
What's the translation?
So this is the clear Quran. So is this the actual Quran?
It's translation in English.
In English, of course.
In Arabic.
So basically, when you go to a mosque, whenever you pray, this is the book that they're using.
In Arabic.
Well, yeah, of course. So basically,
unchanged.
So this is the prayer book, the exact prayer book that Muslims around the world are using.
The law, the everything, the guidance.
Oh, it's interesting. I'm gonna read it for sure. Because I never read it.
Any questions? Feel free to come back.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, of course.
Sounds good.
Because we have information.
You give me one. Yeah, I got it. You gave it to me. Okay.
Right,
thank you. I'll read it. And if anything, do you have a card?
I actually do. I have my own extension. Contact me personally.
You're in Brooklyn. Okay. Grassroots Dawah. What do you do in Brooklyn? Huh?
Do this.
Do this. Okay.
Do this, and there's one in Queens and Brooklyn and Jersey. We're just different people coming together.
Got it.
Got it.
That's
what we do. That's what we try to do.
Try to do. Got
Hopefully
it.
God accepts it.
Inshallah.
I'll tell you, man. If you look, I know it's gonna sound weird, but if you want to give it a shot, maybe ask God when you're by yourself. Ask God, oh God, if you exist, guide me. Simple. If
Well-
you exist, guide me.
Well, look,
Genuinely.
Look, I'm Jewish. Okay,
I wouldn't have thought that.
so you would have thought that. So I'm
Not that it
Jew-
changes anything. but-
so I'm Jewish, and when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to religion, when it comes to monotheism, we were the first ones. Then we were
People before you
Christians,
were
and then like you said, like 600, 1400, 14 centuries ago, Islam didn't even exist when they were touting successes
but
of
we also
Islam.
consider Jesus
But we
to be
did.
a Muslim.
But we did. The Jews existed since like 3500 BC.
A while, yeah.
A while. I mean, we've been around
Yeah.
like more than 500 years.
Sure.
So you're our little brothers.
I mean, it doesn't change the fact.
No, it
that-
doesn't, of course. No.
We believe in Moses, peace be upon him, as a messenger of God. Look at the Ten Commandments. What's the first commandment? You know what the first commandment is?
Of course I do. Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it's there's only one God. That's
Very
right.
interesting.
It is very interesting.
Right. And there's nobody who follows that better than the Muslims. No one. No one on the face of the earth.
But we were the ones who said it. Who came up with this idea, right or
We didn't come
wrong?
up with the idea.
Of course
It
we
was
do.
revealed to Adam, peace be upon
Wait,
him,
wait,
all the way
wait.
in the beginning.
We, the Jews, we came up with it.
You didn't come up with it. It was revealed to you.
The Muslims didn't even exist at the time, like you said yourself.
That's okay. It doesn't change the fact that
It doesn't
no.
change.
That concept
Okay.
of monotheism, that Allah is one, is fundamental to all the prophets.
Well, not Allah, God,
Allah's everything. Sure. God, I mean,
because the Jews
you
believed
say
in
God
their
or
own
Yahweh, or whatever you want to call it.
Yahweh, exactly.
Elohim.
That's right.
But Adam, peace be upon him, he's the first monotheist. God, he's a messenger of God. Of course, if he's a messenger of God, what is God going to tell him? Teach
Well,
people
now
he's one.
now we are quoting our stories. That's good.
I mean, I'm sure you'd believe the same thing though. As a Jew, you would believe that all the prophets before taught the same thing.
I came from USSR. God was dead in USSR.
That's a shame.
It is a shame, but what can you do?
All right.
Okay. Anyway,
Any more questions? Feel free.
sure. I got your card.
right.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Have a great one.
Thanks, you too. See ya.